Well, our hunting season this year got off to a great start. Our opening day was exceptional. The weather held out and we got out there really early, and our previous scouting trip had made it to where we got to see exactly what we were in for and cover some of the terrain. We got to explore a lot of area, about 12,000 acres plus of countryside, and enjoyed everything we did during the day. However, the unfortunate part was when we went back to the second time for our second trip, I had just planned on going out for a little bit. I really wasn't up for hunting, but I wanted to get the dog out. And so he and I went out, and I'm so used to him being trained and using his e-collar that I didn't think we'd have much trouble, since we had a great time on our first trip. However, the problem with it is that it's not a GPS collar. And out there, you know, it's a lot of terrain to cover. We have a lot of things that we have to watch for, and you know, prepare for the unexpected. This area is known for a lot of wildlife, and of course, we have a large population of grizzly bears. Anyway, while we're on this hunt, just gone out, Max and I had planned on just taking a run for about an hour or so. Really wasn't up for hunting, but it was more of a chance to get the dog some exercise. And as we were out, we kind of came upon the unexpected, and something I really was not prepared for. While Max is extremely well trained on his e-collar, we didn't have our GPS yet. It was back ordered, and so I figured we'd stay kind of close and relative and make it easy. But right as we were about 25 yards from the truck, I saw a white-tailed deer pop up. And with it, my dog also decided to give chase. And as I tried to recall him back with a whistle on his e-collar, that didn't happen. And he decided to chase after deer. The problem with that is that his collar is not GPS based, and so in 12,000 acres that we were hunting, that's a lot of terrain. And while it looked flat, it's a lot of rolling hills and a lot of dips, and so he quickly disappeared in that. What would happen was I would spend the next 8 hours walking and driving and calling, trying to get his attention. But you know, he wasn't responding. I couldn't see him, and I couldn't get him back. That led to honestly one of the hardest emotional things of my life. As dark approached, you know, I had to really start thinking about what I was going to do. And the sad fact of the matter was I was going to have to make a decision to leave him out there and hope that he either turned up in the morning or turned up at somebody's house. My chief concern with that was, leaving him out there, was one, the wildlife, because, you know, in this area of Montana, we do have grizzly bears, wolves, and other things that would cause a danger to him. But the second was we had a major storm, first storm of the fall that was coming in and was going to drop into temperatures in the teens. And so leaving my dog out there was a daunting decision, but one that eventually, when it got too dark for me to see, I had to make. And that was a heartbreaking decision, to be able to have to do that. And so I started the long drive home, which was about 30 minutes, and I was I was tortured by that decision. That was tough for me to do. You know, but the fortunate thing, and one of the miracles is that Max managed to show up at a rancher's house, which was about 6 miles away from where I had last seen him. And he was smart enough to bark, and they were kind enough to let him in. So I was only home about 5 minutes before we got the call that Max had been found, which was a massive relief for both my wife and I. But the reality of the afternoon, or that happened in the day before, really didn't hit until we got to the next morning. And that next morning, all of the weight and all of the stress and pressure of that traumatic event hit. And it hit as if somebody had died for me. It was painful beyond belief to have to walk through that again, and to have that feeling of, you know, the what ifs and what could have happened. And the fact that we got him back helped, but it didn't override that gut level feeling. So for me, what I found in this was a great sense of community. The community that I built in my recovery and along the way are the people that I turned to the next day to be able to talk with and share my experiences. People that understood how I felt and what that meant to me. And they allowed me to voice my concerns and to be vulnerable about the decision, and to carry that out in conversation, and provided comfort so that we could work through it. I found that tragedies like that are unavoidable at points, and that we have to walk through them, and some of those are really tough to do. But we find ourselves, if we're lucky, to have friends and family and community that will help us walk through those events. One thing's for certain, Max was happy to be home, and we were glad to have him. Now that his GPS caller had arrived, we didn't want to step back out in the fields in Montana, so we decided to take our field trip on the road and go back to our roots at Bird's Landing to test his new GPS.
Sorry, but I can't give you
Deer. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. He's gone. Here, come on. I don't think there's anything there. There was something there at one point. Yeah, come on.
Tell me, Mama, when did things go wrong? Tell me, Mama, when did things go wrong? Tell me, Mama, when did things go wrong? Well, I'm hurting now, but I won't be hurting long. Say you're going to find another man. Say you're going to find another man. You say you're going to find another man. Well, ain't no one here can love you like I can.